In this unit, we will study the difference between these two constructions, which seem to be difficult to distinguish in English translations.
taka-soo-da, 高いようだ。
The contrast is related to the contrast that we observed in Units 32 and 43. In Unit 32 and 43, we studied a purpose construction that employs stem forms and another that employs direct style sentences.
本を借りに図書館へ行った。大学に入るために塾に通った。
The objective in the first construction is accomplished immediately upon arrival at the destination. The objective and the means form a single event. On the other hand, the objective in the second construction is a separate and remote event. This contrast is reflected grammatically in the fact that a stem form is tenseless, whereas the direct style form is tensed. A similar contrast between the tenseless stem form and the tensed sentence recurs in Japanese. The contrast between soda and yoda for conjecture is one of such constructions.
高そうだ。
This sentence, which contains an adjectival stem followed by soda, is used to describe an intuitive judgment made on the spot. The psychological distance between the person making the judgment and the situation is very close. The point of judgment and the point of the situation are the same. This sentence, which contains a direct style sentence followed by yoda, is used for objective judgment, most likely based on indirect evidence.
彼らにはちょっと高すぎるようだ。
The person making the judgment is at a real or psychological distance from the situation. With a verb describing an event or action, the contrast is that of immediate likelihood versus objective judgment about the likelihood.
雨が降りそうだ。雨が降るようだ。
With yoda, the point of judgment and the point of the event do not have to be the same. You can make a judgment about a past event, for instance.
雨が降ったようだ。
No adjectives also appear before soda and yoda with the same contrast. The shorter form is used when an observer makes an intuitive judgment in a psychological proximity.
孫娘は幸せそうだ。
The longer form is used when the judgment is made at a distance.
孫娘は幸せなようだ。
幸せな here is the form required of an adjective before a noun. It is essentially the same as the direct form 幸せだ. To generalize the contrast more schematically. Lastly, here is a summary of what forms to use. E, good, turns up in an irregular form in front of so. Likewise, nai, not, is an irregular adjective in this respect. It turns up with an extra syllable sa. And negative forms of adjectives also turn up with this extra syllable. One warning before we move on. There are two types of so. One is the one we studied in this unit.
高そうだ。
The other is the one for hearsay that we studied in Unit 42.
高いそうだ。
Do not confuse the two.